Beau Doherty's vision, creativity, and passion sparked a revolution in opportunities afforded students with disabilities, creating a massive impact on schools around the world. His creation of the Special Olympics Unified Sports Program and its partnership with CAS-CIAC changed the lives of countless athletes and partners with opportunities for participation and involvement that previously did not exist. The benefits of his vision on climate inclusion in Connecticut schools is immeasurable.
Beau Doherty is the consummate champion for children, and I think it's fair to say that that's an international status. And he's just a wonderful guy. He's just warmth and enthusiasm. He is caring and compassion, and he's a champion.
How I got to Special Olympics is pretty odd. I was actually told after I got recruited in a big way to run an outdoor recreation program at a huge institution, you know, they said, okay, we're taking you, you're going to do this, and by the way, you're in charge of Special Olympics. Ended up being in charge of coaches training for the state of Massachusetts. Came here in 1986 as the assistant director. Then 2 years before the World Games, I ended up becoming the CEO of the state, and that's what I've been ever since.
To one of the first unified summits, he spoke in front of the group, which he does every year. Once he starts talking, you are engaged and you want to follow him. He told a story about when he was young and he was a schoolboy and someone in some class, I think, picked on a student with needs, and that bothered him, and he stood up for them, and he wanted to stand up for them for the rest of his life, and he has done that and then some.
To me, there was disparity between the way people were treated and the way that they really were. And I knew that Special Olympics was, at that point, very popular with the general public. Special Olympics was different back then. It was more like a carnival. So my take, and luckily Eunice Kennedy Shriver, this was her take, is to take things a little bit more seriously. You know, if you're going to not officiate by the rules, if you're going to treat people like second-class citizens and not coach them, what are you saying about them? So my thing was, let's get serious here and treat these people as human beings, and by doing that, they're going to respond in a great way, which of course they did.
The unified concept itself, I think, has a tremendous impact on the climate and the culture of a school in a very positive way. And Beau was really responsible for doing that.
CIAC and Mike Savage at the time went a completely different route where you have inclusive teams across the state, and quite frankly, when I remember back to that time, there were no other interscholastic athletic conference groups around the United States that were doing that. So Mike Savage and I together came up with a game plan to make that happen, and that was quite rogue back then, and look at the success of it now.
It's the first state in the country that had a partnership between a school association and Special Olympics. Now what we see across the country is our different states trying to emulate what we are doing here in Connecticut. And all of that is due in large measure to the efforts of Beau Doherty.
Unified Sports was his brainchild. And he approached the right people with the right energy and the right enthusiasm, and he's grown a program now that makes a difference in the lives of kids around the world.
When I went to Unity College, it was, you know, I was going to be a forestry guy or a fisheries guy. What I found out about myself is that I really liked people. Like, I like nature, but I like people, and I had never been in a situation where people were really responded with affection in a big way.
And whenever we were coming up with something or looking to do something else, we'd go back to think about what Beau said, and that is include everyone and have inclusion and look at the smiles on the kids' faces. If there's ever a disappointing work day, take a walk down to Unified, talk to the kids, and you will feel better. And Beau says, you know, when you put a smile on a kid's face, it will pay you back tenfold. He is a stand-up guy. He's a good guy, and when you talk to him, you'll know that he's a guy that you should follow. It's
really fulfilling to look back at something that you fought for in the early days and go, Lord, that's really big. I had a mother come up to me, and she was very emotional talking about her son, saying, you know, he never had a coach, and he never played a sport, and he never was on a team. And all of a sudden I'm going, this kid she's talking about is not one of our athletes. She's talking about a non-disabled teammate. And at that point I said, wow, you know, this is really for everybody.
He cares about each and every child, each and every teammate, each and every adult person involved in Unified. And he cares about our organization. He cares about us as people. So I just think he is such an authentic, wonderful human being. That's what makes him special.
It's a tremendous honor. I did not ever think that CIAC or any entity like that would ever put me in a Hall of Honor. You know, as you get older, you kind of go, boy, this really does mean something to me. Whatever award I'm going to get here, I'm going to remember that forever.